turn off your audios. That's our request to you.
Okay, we have 1 more minute before we can start at 7:30 Central Time and 6 a.m. India time, 8:30 Eastern Time, and then 5:30 Pacific Time. We are all so very excited to bring this wonderful offering of Gita Rahasya to all of you. We just completed our journey with so many of you in Sri Bhagavatamrita with the entire 12 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam. We feel really, really grateful and to be able to complete the entire Srimad Bhagavatam in the association of devotees during this lockdown. So Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam has actually taught us how to convert challenges into opportunities, challenges into blessings. This challenge of lockdown, because of all of your wonderful cooperation and enthusiasm, encouragement. Yesterday we completed 12 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, and today we are starting Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the Gita Rahasya, 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita in 9 days. Are you all excited? We know we are. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.
Hare Bol. So when we start the session, we can request all of you to please, if you may, mute yourselves. That way, there will be no other disturbances and the audio will be very clear. You may choose to keep yourselves on video, and please turn off your audios for now. And interactive session starts. That's when we will, have a lot of interactions. We have a lot of fun planned out for all of you, and we pray and hope that you will enjoy this session as much as fun that we had in preparing this session for you.
So we are on Zoom right now with those of you who have registered for the Gita Rahasya, and we are also live streaming on Facebook and on YouTube. The YouTube and Facebook Live listeners will also join us, but there are some special offerings that we have who have registered for this Gita Rahasya course, and which we will reveal soon. And those who are on Zoom will have some special offerings. Yeah, and also please make sure that you've joined the WhatsApp group. Of course, many of you may have come on Zoom session only because you do the WhatsApp group. But if you know your friends or relatives who want to join and are not on the WhatsApp group, please ask them to join on the WhatsApp group, and you'll know very soon why we are requesting that.
Okay, so without further ado, we will start our session of Sri Gita Rahasya.
And in this, go ahead, Gita Rahasya, we will first give you a course overview as to what will be covered in this course. Then we'll explain to you the format of each session, the timing and all of that. And then we'll discuss a little bit about how the materials will be provided to you and what would be some homework assignments so that you can take the Bhagavad Gita Rahasya with you even when you're not attending the session. All right. So before that, we'll start with the invocation prayers, and then we'll go on with the session. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam namaskrityam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye.
Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Radhanath Swami Niti Namine. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swami Niti Namine. Nama Acharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayine Gaura Katha Dhamadaya Nagara Grama Tarine. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today we are embarking on this very, very special journey, a very mysterious journey, a very secretive journey. And we are all going to be sitting on this time machine of Zoom. And we will be traveling back 5,000 years. We will be going to Dwapar Yuga. We will be transported to this very, very beautiful holy place called as Kurukshetra, where the kings of the entire world have assembled to fight the battle of Dharma. So this is the setting of the scene for the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And we hope that you will be with us every step of the way and joining us in this beautiful journey.
Do we all know the introduction to Bhagavad Gita as it is? Those of you who are not introduced to ISKCON, the International Society of Krishna Consciousness, we want to let you know that we will be having Bhagavad Gita as it is as our text throughout this course. And sometime during this course, if not right now, we would request you to please purchase a copy of Bhagavad Gita as it is, translated by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Because that is the text that we will be following. We'll be giving you some assignments which will be based on that. You could purchase a copy. You could go to vedabase.com, VEDA, vedabase.com, and you can refer to the Bhagavad Gita from there.
Or from asitis.com online.
Yes. So, do you all know how the introduction to Bhagavad Gita as it is, which is a 32-page introduction to Bhagavad Gita, how it came to be? That today's session is based on that introduction to Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so before we move forward, we will give you a course overview. Today, we will discuss on the introduction to Bhagavad Gita, just a Gita in a nutshell, a summary study of Srimad Bhagavad Gita today. And then tomorrow we will start with the first two chapters. So every day for the next 8 days after today, we will be covering two chapters, and some of the chapters are very small. The 12th chapter, the 15th chapter, we will, during those times, we will cover three chapters. Okay, so please continue with us in this journey to the 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. In the battlefield of Kurukshetra, it was the entire battle was won in 18 days, and there are 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. We will be able to conquer over our challenges in our life in 18 days. We'll get the key on how to do that. So please stay along with us every day. And we'd like to welcome all of you as you are joining more and more. Thank you so much for joining. The format of each session would be that this is a 1.5 hour session. Maybe every day may not take 1.5 hours, but for the first 45 minutes, we will be discussing, giving an overview of the chapter, telling you what are the most important verses in the chapter. We will be teaching you in some ways the pronunciation of the verses, and most importantly, explain to you how different verses of Bhagavad Gita are interrelated to each other, how based on the purports by Srila Prabhupada, by the 15th, 16th century saints, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Sri Baladev Vidyabhushan, and from our very own Guru Vargas, Bhurijan Prabhu, from the book Surrender Unto Me, how we can understand how the Bhagavad Gita is related. Each verses are related. So that will go on for 45 minutes. Then after that, we will do an interactive session with you all. We will give you 2 to 3 questions that you will write down and answers to, and then few of you can share the answers. These will be very, very practical questions related to your life and how Bhagavad Gita helps you in overcoming those practical challenges. Okay, so that'll go on for 15-20 minutes, and at the end we will keep it open for question answers. Depending on how many questions are there, we'll go on till 1.5 hour of the duration is complete. And after that, the most exciting part, we will be providing you assignments that you can do and some quiz questions, which will be exclusively for those who have joined the WhatsApp group. And so if you want to get access to those quiz questions and the assignment questions, then please join the WhatsApp group. Okay, so this will be the course. We'll try to make it as practically viable for you as much as possible. That's the focus. How we can apply Bhagavad Gita in our day-to-day life. So there will be theoretical understanding, but our focus will be on the practical understanding of the Bhagavad Gita. All right. So we'll continue.
So also that we will, during this entire journey, Bhagavad Gita has 700 verses. So what we have decided to do is selected 108 important verses, which were selected by Srila Prabhupada himself. So we're going to be mainly focusing on those verses and the interconnection that these verses have with the chapter flow, so that we get the essence of the Bhagavad Gita in these 9-day sessions.
And sometimes you will see us looking directly at Zoom, and sometimes we'll be looking at YouTube and Facebook Live. So you will see our eyes going here and there. So please bear with us. Know that there is a reason behind it. And same for the YouTube and Facebook Live listeners. When Srila Prabhupada, he moved out of Dr. Mishra's studio into a small office. He had his own room now, but it was a very dilapidated room in the Bowery district of New York. And even if someone was really interested in spiritual topics, they would find it very, very uncomfortable to sit on this rugless floor on a room which was shaped like a train car. Very, very simple. But Srila Prabhupada's Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, had told him years before, do not be despondent. When you're doing kirtan or you're giving lecture, even if no one attends, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur told him, go on chanting, go on speaking to the four walls. Thus, Prabhupada took it his personal duty to glorify Krishna in whatever setting, whether people come to listen to him or not. And the first few people who came to see Srila Prabhupada were some students of Dr. Mishra. Dr. Mishra was one who was facilitating Srila Prabhupada in his yoga studio. And one of those students donated him a tape recorder. So one time, no one showed up. Prabhupada was waiting. No one showed up. Srila Prabhupada was not discouraged. Oh, I arranged so much and no one is showing up. No one is coming. Maybe Krishna is not helping me. Maybe I shouldn't preach at all. No. He took his tape recorder and he gave a class to the four walls. And that recording was so powerful that became the introduction to Bhagavad Gita. The introduction that we have in the Bhagavad Gita as it is, it's the same introduction. It's the same lecture that Srila Prabhupada recorded to the four walls. But we can see how much of dedication Srila Prabhupada has, how much of a student of Bhagavad Gita he was, completely detached from the external circumstances, but very much attached to executing the Lord's will. So then he taped the several hours of essay. He called it Introduction to Gita Upanishad. Later, it was published in the translation of the Bhagavad Gita. Something that personally inspired me, in the last line of the preface of Bhagavad Gita as it is, Srila Prabhupada says, we hope, therefore, that people will derive the greatest benefit by studying Bhagavad Gita as it is, as we have presented it here. And if even one man becomes a pure devotee of the Lord, we shall consider our attempt a success. And when I read this line at the end of the preface of Bhagavad Gita, it touched me so much. And I resolved, I want to become that one man, that pure devotee. I did not know at that time that there was a huge movement of devotees. But I had that. And then as I came in the association of devotees, I realized how much of a daunting task it is. I may have had the desire, but it takes lifetimes sometimes. By Lord Chaitanya's mercy, we can finish it in this lifetime and become a pure devotee in this lifetime itself. So this is the understanding. This is the mood in which of Srila Prabhupada, that we are trying to share this understanding of Bhagavad Gita, whatever little we have, with all of you, and would be happy to go on this journey to learn from all of you as well.
So here in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, we have the Krishna describes 5 major topics. The entire Bhagavad Gita can be classified into 5 major topics, which is Jiva, Ishvara, Prakriti, Kala, and Karma. These 5 topics are discussed in the Bhagavad Gita. And Srila Prabhupada, in page 32 of this work, of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, Srila Prabhupada, he proclaims that what is Srila Prabhupada's authority in actually speaking and commenting on the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Srila Prabhupada, he's establishing his authority to comment, and it was actually Srila Prabhupada who instituted the importance of a bona fide parampara. And in this, Srila Prabhupada, he describes the entire line of acharyas that comes, and Srila Prabhupada is the 32nd acharya in the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. So it is also said that
in Padma Purana it says, Sampradaya Vihina Ye Mantras Te Nishphala Mataha Ata Kalau Bhavashyanti Chatvara Sampradayina Shri Brahma Rudra Sanaka Vaishnava Kshitipavana Chatvaras Te Kalau Bhavya Hi Utkale Purushottamat Ata Kalau Bhavishyanti.
which means that any mantra that does not come in disciplic succession is considered to be fruitless. It's nishphalat, no result. Therefore, four divine individuals will appear in the age of Kali to found disciplic schools. The founders of these four Vaishnava Sampradayas are Lakshmi, Shri, means Lakshmi means Shri. Second is Brahma Sampradaya. Third is the Rudra Sampradaya. And fourth is the Kumar Sampradaya, coming down from the four Kumaras. So this is what is described, that any spiritual knowledge, just like when we go to take, education, we see what is the most potent school or the most potent university. What is the source? How are they claiming that they are going to give good education? So when we are looking for spiritual education, we also need to find out from what are they going to speak? What is the source? What is the caliber of these people who are claiming to give us spiritual knowledge? So, in this connection, before we dive into, a little bit more of the overview of the Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavad Gita in a nutshell, we want to share a nice pastime, which is giving us that what should be our mood when we are reading the Bhagavad Gita, when we are studying the Bhagavad Gita, when we hear the Bhagavad Gita. So this particular pastime, it appears in the in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was traveling in South India. He was going through South India. He came to this one place called Rangakshetra. And Rangakshetra Mahaprabhu was just wandering. He was just wandering, and he came upon this one Brahmana who was sitting on the side of the road. He was an old Brahmana. He was sitting on the side of the road, and he had the Bhagavad Gita held. He had the Bhagavad Gita open, and the Bhagavad Gita was upside down in his hand. But he was crying like a madman. This man was crying. And whoever was passing by, especially the children and some young people, they were just laughing at this man, but he was not bothered. And he was just crying. So Mahaprabhu went down and sat next to him and said, "My dear sir, please explain to me, why are you crying?" He said, "My dear Mahaprabhu, I am an illiterate. I do not know properly how to read or to write. But my spiritual master, he has instructed me to read the Bhagavad Gita." Mahaprabhu said, "Okay, that's very good. But why are you crying?" He said, "See, I am just trying to read the Bhagavad Gita, but I don't know what is written in it." So Mahaprabhu was saying, "That's fine, but why are you crying?" So then this Brahmana said, "Look at this picture. Krishna has become Partha Sarathi. He's taken on the position of being the chariot driver for Arjuna, for his dear devotee. What is the position of a chariot driver?" This person explained, the Brahmana explained to Mahaprabhu, that one who is a chariot driver, he has to tolerate the, especially for a warrior, he has to tolerate the when the warrior is wanting to go ahead, he doesn't have, oh my dear chariot sir, please go ahead, or please make a right, please make a left. He's fighting in the battlefield. So the way the warrior communicates with the chariot driver is that he kicks on the shoulder of the chariot driver. If he wants to go right, he'll kick on the right shoulder. If he wants to go left, kicks on the left shoulder. And if he wants to go straight, he kicks right in the center. Krishna knowingly took this position of being, taking the kicks of his devotee, Arjuna. And still, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So how merciful is Krishna? And thinking of this mercy, Mahaprabhu, I am crying tears of ecstasy. That how merciful is Krishna? How dear are the devotees to Krishna? So then Mahaprabhu embraced this Brahmana and said, my dear Brahmana, you are the one who has understood the actual purport of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And this should be our mood, that Krishna is Bhakta Vatsala, that Krishna is so much, concerned about his dear devotees. So this is something that we must have in mind when we are studying this great literature, Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavat means Supreme Personality of Godhead. Gita means song. We were reading the Srimad Bhagavatam till now, which is the great devotees who are glorifying the Supreme Lord and his devotees, is what Srimad Bhagavatam is. But what Bhagavad Gita is directly Bhagavan's Mukhanishhrita Vani, directly spoken by the lotus mouth of Krishna. So this is something very special, very, very special. So this is the mood that we must try to keep always, that Krishna is Bhakta Vatsala. And if this is our mood, then Krishna will reveal to us these secrets. All the Rahasyas of the Gita will be manifest to us.
Yeah, thank you. Very wonderful, very heartfelt pastime. But this is the mood that we need. Okay, so now we come to a synopsis of the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters, and it's divided into 6 chapters each. First 6 chapters, then 7 to 12, and then 13 to 18 chapters. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he says that Bhagavad Gita is like a jewel box, like a box of jewel. The lower covering of the box is the first 6 chapters, and that's the Karma Yoga. The first 6 chapters describe the Karma Yoga. Then the jewel-studded top lid. The top lid is there. It has jewels on top of that lid. That is the third section of the last 6 chapters, 13th chapter to 18th chapter, which is Jnana Yoga. Karma Yoga at the bottom, Jnana Yoga, jewel-studded Jnana Yoga on the top, and then in the middle, inside that box, is the shining jewel of the middle 6 chapters, chapter 7 to chapter 12, which is the Bhakti Yoga. In the middle 6 chapters, 7 to 12, the shining jewel of Bhakti Yoga in that jewel box. And so this precious Bhakti is protected by Jnana and Karma. Karma at the bottom, Jnana at the top. And the reason why the top lid is called jewel-studded is because of the final 2 instruction verses in the last chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Verses 65 and 66 of the 18th chapter, which is in one sense the conclusion, the jewel-studded on top. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this, because you're my very, very dear friend. And then verse 66 of 18th chapter. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shucha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that these two verses are the jewels on the lid of the precious box. These two jewels comprising of 64 syllables. These are the final instructional verses. The reason I'm saying instructional verses is because if you open Bhagavad Gita, these are not the last verses. After this also Krishna continues speaking, but Krishna stops his instructions at 65 and 66. After that, he's just conversing with Arjuna. There are no instructions. But these are the final instruction. These are the jewels of the Jnana Yoga section of the top lid, which are the jewels of bhakti.
So it is also said that bhakti, because bhakti is in the center, means the middle 6 chapters, chapters 7 to 12 are bhakti yoga. So bhakti is like the queen, that she is carried by jnana on one side, which is the chapters 13 to 18, and by karma yoga on the other side, which is 1 to 6. So bhakti, the middle 6 chapters are, in the center. So Bhakti Devi is like the queen, and she's carried on this palanquin, by gyan and karma. So this is how we understand. So, Bhagavad Gita, there was once, I would like to tell a short joke at this point, that one time, there was a new devotee class going on in the temple, and then the speaker, they said that tomorrow, all of you, please be ready tomorrow. And we are serious about this. So please be ready with we will ask a quiz on the 19th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Everybody nodded their head. Yes, yes, Prabhu. Yes, yes. We will be ready. The next day came and everyone came. And then everyone, was ready to listen. And then this speaker said, so who all have come prepared for the quiz on the 19th chapter? Everybody raised their hands. We are prepared. We are prepared. And then he said, well, I need a private one-to-one meeting with each and every one of you. In which Bhagavad Gita do we have the 19th chapter? So we should know that Bhagavad Gita has only 18 chapters. So this is just something. So Bhagavad Gita, it is said that every word in the Bhagavad Gita is what Krishna is speaking. So dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam, Srila Prabhupada says. That Bhagavad Gita is, what is dharma? Dharma is that which Krishna speaks directly. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. What Bhagavan is giving, that is dharma. So Bhagavad Gita, we all know that first chapter, first verse of Bhagavad Gita starts with dha. This is the verse. Dhritarashtra vacha dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yutsava mamaka pandavaschaiva kim akurvata sanjaya. So it starts with dha, and the last verse of the Bhagavad Gita, which is 18th chapter, text 78, is the last verse. It ends with, let's see, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara Tatra Shri Vijaya Bhutir Dhruvanitir Matir Mama. So it ends with ma. So this text that starts with dha ends with ma. Whatever is in between this is dharma. So this is how Krishna has presented dharma. And 4 basic questions are answered in the Bhagavad Gita, which is, first question, What is suffering? Second question, what is the cause of suffering? Third question, how to transcend suffering? Fourth question, how to tolerate suffering? Now, is there a difference between 3 and 4? Yes, there is. Because 3 tells us that how do we actually transcend suffering? How do we completely forego of suffering? But 4 tells us that right now we may not be at that stage of, transcending suffering. But whatever stage we are in, to be able to transcend to that, how do we tolerate in the interim time? While staying in this world, how do we tolerate the suffering? That is the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. So this is what we will learn in our journey. These answer to these 4 questions.
Bhagavad Gita also teaches us about the yoga ladder. It is one of the best books on yoga, Bhagavad Gita. But Srila Prabhupada writes that yoga actually means bhakti yoga. All other yogas, they are just progressions to the destination of bhakti yoga. So this yoga ladder actually begins from the lowest material condition and rises up all the way to the perfection of the results of Bhagavad Gita. It goes from the conditioned life is one rung of the ladder, then karma yoga, which is the first 6 chapters, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, and then bhakti yoga. It explains that as the conclusion. So this is very important. And in the first few chapters, we can see a little bit of a glorification of the first 4 chapters at least, which will take us to next week. But in a nutshell, the first chapter is known as observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Here, Arjuna is observing the armies. He has become overwhelmed by compassion for the relatives. He's very, very fearful of what sinful reactions will we get if I kill my own relatives. He was not able to foresee any enjoyment, even if he gets some victory without the relatives, because families are going to be destroyed in this war. And then it's going to lead to the degradation of the society. So Arjuna decides, you know what, I will not fight. Then hearing of Arjuna's dilemma, Dhritarashtra, he becomes hopeful. Maybe my sons will win. And then Sanjaya bursts his hope bubble and describes, wait. Let's see how Krishna is inspiring Arjuna to fight.
So which brings us to chapter 2. So chapter 2 is entitled The Contents of the Gita Summarized, where Arjuna, with all the arguments that he gave in chapter 1, he ultimately becomes so confused by his own arguments. And he says, Krishna, I do not know what's right and what's wrong. So please, I become a surrendered disciple to you. You please instruct me what I have to do. So therefore, Krishna then starts the basic ABC of spiritual life by giving Arjuna the knowledge of, what is the difference between the body and the soul. Krishna explains jnana, which is the knowledge of the body and the soul. He explains about sakam karma yoga, by performing duty and attaining, by the performance of duty, how to, attain some enjoyment and, just stay in this world in a nice, pious way. Then he talks about buddhi yoga, which is also called as nishkam karma yoga, which means working with detachment and, but working with detachment, with giving up the results of the activities, to Krishna, and working in knowledge of what activities I'm doing. So this, in this chapter, in the second chapter, Krishna, in text 49 in chapter 2, Krishna says that keep all abominable actions away by Buddhi Yoga. So the third chapter starts with this particular point, that Arjuna is asking that, my dear Krishna, which one is better? Do you recommend renunciation or do you recommend action? What do you recommend? Karma or renunciation? So then that brings us to the third chapter.
So if we go on seeing in this way, there is a correlation between each chapter. Today we are giving you the correlation between chapter 1 and chapter 2, which we will be discussing tomorrow. So stay tuned, you'll see more correlations. And then from the second chapter, we'll see the correlation between third and fourth. But we have to be a little patient because Bhagavad Gita sometimes becomes very, very philosophical. And then we feel, oh, it's so much philosophy. How can I, this is too much. I don't know why. Therefore, it's important that our mood and our application is correct. One time, one person came to a Srimad Bhagavatam class, and he would regularly attend the morning Bhagavatam class and the evening Bhagavad Gita class. Very regularly he would attend. And devotees were very happy. Oh, he's coming in the association of devotees, hearing Bhagavatam, hearing Bhagavad Gita. But there was one problem. He would come, he would sit on the first seat, very near to the speaker. And then as soon as the speaker would start chanting, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, suddenly this person would just fall asleep right in front of the speaker.
In front of everybody.
And the speaker was, what? Did I say anything wrong? Am I so boring that he's going to sleep? Maybe he's too tired. Then he would come for the Bhagavad Gita class. And he would do the same thing. He would look at the speaker, and as soon as he started chanting prayers, boom, he would go to sleep. And so devotees tolerated this for some time, and they said, maybe he's just too tired. At least he's coming. That is so wonderful.
And he would wake up right as soon as the speaker would say, thank you very much, Hare Krishna. Immediately he would wake up and go for prasadam.
Especially when they would say, Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmani Vaishnave Swalpa Punya Vatam Rajan Vishwasonaiva Jayate. These are the prayers for honoring prasadam. He would immediately wake up. Oh wow, time for prasadam. But this kept happening every day. Every day he would come without fail and he would just sleep. Devotees were saying, what happened? So one of the devotees took him to the side one day. After it kept on happening, they took him on the side and said, Prabhu, we are so grateful that you come. Thank you for coming. But we are confused. Whenever you come and then you just sit, you sleep in front of the speaker. What is the mystery? Is everything okay? He said, oh, no. I have said Srimad Bhagavatam is the cure for all diseases. He said, what? Yes, Bhagavad Gita is also the cure for all diseases. So, wow, you have such faith. How come? I have realized this by my experience. So how come you have realized this? You never even heard Bhagavad Gita. You were always sleeping. You never even heard Srimad Bhagavatam. He said, that is the point. I have a disease called insomnia. In this insomnia, I cannot sleep. But whenever I come to this Bhagavad Gita class and Bhagavatam class, I don't know what happens, what magic is there. I just feel so sleepy. So actually, there is an explanation to that. Whenever we are hearing Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, Maya Devi feels that, oh, this particular soul is going away from my grip. So she sends her sister, Nidra Devi, that go and take care of this person. Make sure this person does not hear Bhagavad Gita, does not hear Krishna's words, does not hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Because if he hears, they'll be transcendental from all the suffering. They'll be delivered. They'll know my secret. They'll know the Rahasya. They'll know the mystery, the Gita Rahasya. So we need to fight all of our tendencies to maybe doze off or sleep or feel bored. There will be some philosophical discussions, but this is the Rahasya. This is the mystery. Let's be attentive. We told you about the first two chapters. Third and fourth chapter, third chapter, Krishna says about Karma Yoga, and fourth chapter about transcendental knowledge, which we will discuss, which we will tell you in nutshell tomorrow and actually discuss it on
The next
Monday.
session.
Yeah, next session, third session.
So there is a very wonderful story about the glories of reading the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, or even listening to Srimad Bhagavad Gita. How the proof is there in the Gita-mahatmya itself. This is Gita-mahatmya was narrated by Lord Shiva himself to his blessed wife, Goddess Parvati. And in that, Lord Shiva explains this. He starts the glories of the Gita, the Bhagavad Gita, by telling this one Leela. He says there was once a Brahmana who was very poor, very, very poor. He had a family, and their main source of subsistence was by begging. So every day, this Brahmana had one wonderful quality that he would, by without fail, he would read the Srimad Bhagavad Gita every single day. So one day, the Brahmana was reading the Bhagavad Gita, and he came to the 9th chapter, which is, entitled The Most Confidential Knowledge. And there he came to chapter 2, the text 22. And that chapter, text 22, is
Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham.
and to those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. So this Brahmana, when he was reading Yogakshemam Vahamyaham, that I personally, Krishna is saying that I personally take care of my devotees and I take to them what they lack and I preserve what they have. I do it personally. So this Brahmana said, he had realization that, no, Krishna, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why would he personally come to take care? So, he just took a red pen and he just scratched out, he put a cross against the word aham. He said, no. Krishna must be sending his agents and his representatives, but not directly, so he couldn't digest that. So he said, okay, let me just scratch it out. He scratched it out, and then his wife said that please go out and get some, alms. We don't have anything in the house. So then the Brahmana went out to beg, and that day when he went out to beg, not even one home he got any alms. He didn't get anything. Everywhere he went, first a little girl would open. Oh, nobody at home, Babaji. I can't give you anything. And then the next home he went, oh, we have a death in the family. We can't give you anything. So like this, he was not getting any kind of bhiksha anywhere. So very dejected, feeling very, very dejected. He was sitting under a tree, just taking some rest. In the meanwhile, in his own home, there was a young, beautiful, gorgeous looking young boy who came, and he had this huge basket filled with groceries, with rice, dal, sabjis, that can be cooked, all raw items, all grocery items was there on his basket, and he was carrying it all, and he said, oh my, please help me. And then the Brahmani, she came out and she said, oh my dear boy, why are you carrying such a big boja, such a big weight on your head? He said, well, I actually am your husband's disciple. And I told your husband that I can't carry such a big basket on my head. I told your husband. And see, when I told your husband that I can't carry it, look what he did to me. And the little boy turned around, and the wife was shocked. She said, oh, my husband beat you like this so mercilessly. There were, 2 lines of, as if he was beaten with a cane. So this little boy was crying, and then the Brahmani, she took all the groceries and she said, no, Lala, you come inside the home. I will cook something. You eat something, then you go. And then she was so angry with her husband that why did my husband, beat up this flower-like child? How could he do that? So then the husband returned home, the Brahmana came home, and the wife was so angry and she went charging to her husband and she said, "How could you be so inhuman? How can you beat that flower like boy?" And then the Brahmana said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, what's wrong? I didn't beat anybody." She said, "Oh, you didn't even tell me that you have a disciple. You become such a big guru. You have disciple and all that. You didn't even tell me." So then the Brahmana said, "I don't have any disciples. What are you talking about?" So then the Brahmani said, "Come, I'll show you your disciple." And when he told you that he cannot lift such a big basket filled with groceries, you beat him up? How merciless are you? So then this Brahmana said, "Wow, who is this person?" And he had a doubt in his mind. And they came inside the house, and the Brahmani wanted to introduce the disciple, the little boy, to the Brahmana, and the boy was not there. And then the Brahmana immediately ran to his Bhagavad Gita, and he just opened his Bhagavad Gita, and that cross that he had put on Aham was gone. So Krishna had personally taken that cross on his own back. And he showed to the Brahmana that I personally carry what my devotees lack. I do not need any agents. I come personally to take care of my devotees. So the Brahmana was, feeling really very bad that he doubted the Bhagavad Gita. And he came and he, almost offered obeisances to his wife that I couldn't take darshan of Krishna. But you are so fortunate that you could see Krishna and serve him. So in this way, so we should not think that, oh, if we make notes on the Gita, it's proper or not. Many times we get a question like this after this. But it was the main intention with which, the Brahmana had striked out the word aham. That's why, it was not, Krishna took it very personally. So we must be very careful that we must not doubt the words of the Bhagavad Gita. We must have full faith in the words and the glories of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So with this mood, we will conclude today's our speaking session. Before we move to the next session of interactions with all of you, we will recite. And now we request if the Gita-mahatmya can be shared on the screen on Zoom. So the Gita-mahatmya can be shared here so that all of you can also look at the Gita-mahatmya and recite it along with us. Not yet. It will be this Gita-mahatmya will be sent to all of you. Right after this session, you will. Those of you who are on WhatsApp will receive this Gita-mahatmya, so that you can complete your assignment that we have for you. So this is text 1. There are only 7 verses of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita Mahatmya.
And please try to chant together along with us so that we can glorify Srimad Bhagavad Gita together.
But please keep yourselves on mute. Okay. So, Gita Shastram Idam Punyam Ya Pathet Prayata Puman Vishnu Padam Avapnoti Bhaya Shokadivarjita.
If one properly follows the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, one can be freed from all miseries and anxieties of life. One will be freed from all fears in this life, and one's next life will be spiritual.
Text 2.
Gita dhyayana shilasya pranayama parasya cha naiva shanti papani purva janma kritani cha.
If one reads Bhagavad Gita very sincerely and with all seriousness, then by the grace of the Lord, the reactions of his past misdeeds will not act upon him. Third verse.
Maline mochanam pumsam jalasnanam dine dine sakrit gitambrasi snanam samsara malanashanam. One may cleanse himself daily by taking a bath in water, but if one takes a bath even once in the sacred water of river Ganges of Bhagavad Gita, for him the dirt of material life is altogether vanquished.
Text 4.
Gita Sugita Kartavya Kim Anyai Shastra Vistarai Ya Swayam Padmanabhasya Mukha Padmad Vinisrita.
Because Srimad Bhagavad Gita is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one need not read any other Vedic literature. One need only attentively and regularly hear and read Bhagavad Gita. In the present age, people are so absorbed in mundane activities that it is not possible for them to read all the Vedic literatures. But this is not necessary. This one book, Bhagavad Gita, will suffice because it is the essence of all Vedic literatures, and especially because it is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Verse 5.
Bharatamrita sarvasvam Vishnovarvakrad vinisritam Gita Gangodakam pitva Punarjanma vidyate. One who drinks the water of the Ganges attains salvation. So what to speak of one who drinks the nectar of Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita is the essential nectar of Mahabharata, and it is spoken by Lord Krishna himself, the original Vishnu.
Text 6.
Sarvopanishado gavo dogdha gopalanandana partho vatsa sudhir bhokta dugdham gitamritam mahat.
This Gita Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, the essence of all the Upanishads, is just like a cow. And Lord Krishna, who is famous as a cowherd boy, is milking this cow. Arjuna is just like a calf, and learned scholars and pure devotees are to drink the nectarian milk of Bhagavad Gita. Text 7.
Ekam shastram devaki putra gitam Eko devo devaki putra eva Eko mantrastasya namani yani Karmapyekam tasya devasya seva. Let there be one scripture only, one common scripture for the whole world, Bhagavad Gita. Let there be one God for the whole world, Sri Krishna. Let there be only one hymn, one mantra, one prayer, the chanting of his name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Let there be one work only, the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Okay, so we can stop the screen sharing now, and if we can come back to thank you so much. Hare Krishna. So now we will start the interactive session of the Bhagavad Gita. So please, we request all of you to get a diary, because you will have lots of things to write, lots of notes to take. So please, we request all of you to be ready with a pen and paper, pen and diary.
So we have 30 more minutes remaining in this 1.5 hour session. Thank you so much for being patient so far and listening enthusiastically. we will give you some questions that we will request you to write answers to, either on your phone or on your diary or notebook. Please write down these questions. And for each of the questions, there are 3 questions. And we will go one after another. We'll give you one question. Then we'll give you 1 minute to write the answers to those questions. It's very practical questions. These are not questions regarding Bhagavad Gita or anything of that sort. These are questions that will help you in your practical life. And this session will go on for 15 minutes. We'll ask you to write down the answers for the second question. Then we'll tell the third question. We'll write you to answer that. 1 minute to write whatever comes first to your mind. And then whoever would like to share, what they have written, you can feel free to share. We'll allow 3 participants to share what you have written. Just because of in the interest of time, we have to restrict just to 3 participants to share what you have written. 1 participant to share the first question, second participant the second question, third participant the third question. And then after that, hopefully we can finish this in 10 to 15 minutes. And then the rest of the 15 to 20 minutes will be for question answer if you have any questions in today's session.
Okay. So are we all ready? So please be ready with your hand raise also. It will be, based on first come, first serve. So please, all right. So the questions.
The first question, please write this question as well as the answer to this question. The first question is, what is one thing new that you learned in today's session? What one new thing, please write down one new thing that you learned in this session. And we'll give you 1 minute to write that. Hopefully that 1 minute should be good enough. One thing that you liked. There are so many things that we liked, that we learned from this session. One thing, new thing that you learned that you probably didn't know. Now, it's possible some of you may say, hey, whatever you said, we already knew it. That's okay too. Write that there was nothing new that I learned. So thank you, Prem Vikas Prabhu, Divyangi Mataji. They have posted the question on the chat. What is one new thing that you learned today?
And you may please feel free to share your comments in the chat too. So that, we can read it later, because this session is getting recorded. So all your chats will also get recorded. So please do feel free to share your comments in the chats. And please let us know who would like to, speak about it. Anyone volunteering to speak?
Garima.
Hare Krishna.
I learned from the session that always have faith in Bhagavad Gita.
Okay, who is this?
Garima.
Thank you, Garima. Thank you so much for sharing, beta. How young are you?
I am 7.5.
Wow.
Where do you live?
I live in Atlanta.
Oh, wonderful.
Thank you, beta.
Thank you for sharing the answer. So we'll wait for maybe 15 more seconds, and then we can go to the next question.
Your answer really inspired everyone. Thank you, Garima. Yes?
Hare Krishna, can I go?
Yes, please. Who is this? Please announce your name.
My name is Anju.
Yes, please go ahead.
The connection between the letters Dha, Dharam Kshetre, Kurukshetre, the first letter Dha and the last letter of Bhagavad Gita, Ma.
Yes.
First, I have learned this new thing today. It was wonderful. Like everything is Dharma.
Jai.
And never doubt Krishna. Just not even 0.001%. Just full faith in him. So Dharam connection was beautiful.
Thank
That's the new
you.
thing I learned today.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Anjuji. Thank you. Sorry, I couldn't
Hari.
see you, so
Can
I
I
couldn't.
answer? Can I
Yes.
answer one?
Yes.
I'm Rajulakshmi.
Yes,
I'm from India.
Rajalakshmi. Yes, please.
Actually, I learned that a warrior will give directions through kicking the Sarathi. And that Krishna, that position, knowing that he will get instructions only through the feet of the warrior.
Yes.
That was a great, and Krishna's supporting the devotee by accepting this kind of kicks and other things. So I really was really moved knowing this today.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing it. Thank you.
So
Guruji, can I share?
okay.
Yes, please.
This is Madhubhashini.
Yes.
Mataji, I learned that about that jewel box which you explained that was a jewel box which was the lower wing and the top lay, and the jewel is the Bhakti Yoga, the 3 layers you explained about the 3 chapters, right? Like first 6 chapters, next 6 and third 6 chapters.
Yes.
That was really wonderful. I have never heard this before. This is the first time I'm hearing about it.
Wonderful.
Yes.
This is
Thank you,
Prabhu's research on. This is what is told by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. This is his analogy. So.
Okay, thank you for sharing. In the interest of time, we'll have to go to the second question. So the second question is, please write down 3 challenges and 3 blessings that you have in your life. Please write down 3 blessings first the blessings in your life, and 3 challenges in your life. 3 good things that you are grateful for in your life, and 3 things that you feel are challenges in your life. Everyone in this material world has challenges and as well as blessings. So we should count our blessings, which will help us overcome the challenges. So we want you to write down 3 most important blessings that you feel, 3 challenges that are there, and keep these 3 blessings, 3 challenges with you throughout this journey of Gita Rahasya. Because in many sessions, you will find, suddenly in one session, you will find an answer to some of the challenges.
Yes.
Sometimes we think our challenges are really something which I don't want. But if we take to the shelter of Bhagavad Gita, some challenges will become blessings in disguise.
Yes.
And this whole Bhagavad Gita teaches us, Krishna is teaching Arjuna exactly the same thing, how to convert your challenge into blessing. So we'll give everyone 1 minute to write down 3 challenges, 3 blessings, and keep this stored with you throughout this journey, tomorrow, and then after the next 8 sessions. And we guarantee you will find the answers to the challenges that you're facing in your life. This is the guarantee of Bhagavad Gita. This is the promise of Srimad Bhagavad Gita.
Promise of Krishna.
Yes.
So.
And also write.
It's very inspiring to read all your beautiful comments. We're so happy that this session is getting recorded. So all of the chats we will be able to see, and we will not miss out on anything. So please do put in your chats. Please do put chats. Anyone who would like to volunteer to speak? 3 challenges and 3 blessings. Yes.
Mataji, first blessing is morning hearing. Here in India it is 6 o'clock. So in the very first morning we are hearing Bhagavad Gita and scriptures. I feel very blessed, and because of this I feel very enthusiastic and learning new things. And it will fulfill my day, and I can be in full smarana of Lord Krishna and devotees. Then my challenge is really struggling in getting early in the morning, like what Prabhupada has instructed, and dealing with others, devotees and non-devotees. And in every situation, it's maintaining Trinadapi Sunichena. So I'm struggling.
Wonderful, wonderful realizations. Thank you so much for sharing. Could we know your name, please?
Meena.
Oh, Meena Mataji.
Meena.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else?
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I'm from the Atlanta area, the temple here in Atlanta.
Hare
And
Krishna.
I offer my humble obeisances to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you for joining. We're very grateful for your association.
I'm very grateful for you taking this time. I wanted to, the blessings I have a very supportive family, and my grandson recently 2 years moved with me, and he's very interested in Krishna consciousness, so it's a very strong blessing for me. I have support of some wonderful devotees, and I have found Krishna first and foremost. I've found Krishna, and I've loved him all my life. I just didn't know who he was, but I've seen him in my eye,
Wonderful.
And and for my challenges, it's funny because I have insomnia, and I read different books by Srila Prabhupada to help me fall asleep. So that's a very strong challenge because I have very severe insomnia all my life. And another challenge about the insomnia is because it's so difficult to wake up early in the morning to do my rounds. It's so difficult. And so I fall short, and I'm ashamed, but I fall short. The other challenge is because I'm very judgmental and perfectionist about myself. So I beat myself up about little things, and I really shouldn't. And I have some health challenges. I was hospitalized twice in the last 6 months for like 2 weeks each time. So just some challenges there, but Krishna is bringing me out very fine. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
We really, really appreciate your genuine sincerity and your humility in sharing all of this. It's not easy. It's really not easy. And, Krishna is truly appreciating this. And you should know that each and every one of us, we treasure this. And our prayers that, for your health, may Lord Nrsingadev always keep you in his transcendental protection. This is our prayer for you. And we thank you so much for sharing your realization.
This is helping me to become to initiation one day, I pray.
Haribo. Haribo.
Yeah, we all pray
Hare
for
Krishna,
that.
Mataji. Mataji, can I go?
Yes.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I'm Shyampriya Devi Dasi from Kentucky, USA.
Yes.
And my first blessing is, the first thing is that I got the realization of Krishna consciousness, that I came to know that who Krishna is, and we are not the body and we are the soul. So that is a very big blessing, that at least I'm one of those fallen souls that at least realized about Krishna. The second is the association of having this wonderful class that I'm listening from you. So that is really very nice that I got to at least learn so many things out of this class today. And the third blessing is my Guru, his Grace Radha Guru Maharaj. So I could not go in front of him, but he initiated me on my phone. So that was a very big blessing for me also. And my challenge is that I want to bring my kids and my husband to Krishna Bhakti, to give Krishna consciousness. And I'm second is like I'm always struggling to hear, like I always think in my mind that I want to listen to Srila Prabhupada's lectures and everything, and I will turn on the lecture, but like 5-10 minutes I will hear and then I will just stop it. So it's a big challenge that I really want to keep hearing those Prabhupada's lectures. And the third thing is that I cannot control my anger. So that is a very big challenge for me. I get angry really fast. So Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna. Thank you.
Daddy,
Thank you.
Mataji, I have something to say.
Yes, who is this?
This is Kirti.
Kirti! Yes, Kirti, please. Go ahead.
So my blessings are I have a really nice ISKCON family, and I'm also blessed to have a really nice family, and I'm also blessed to have really nice sadhu sangha. And the challenges that I face is I only have one right now, but it's that if you're trying to if I'm trying to do rounds and I also have school, so it's kind of a challenge for me to have time to do my rounds and do my schoolwork. So that's a challenge that I'm working on, and I'm pretty sure I'll find a resolution for that pretty soon. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
I'm sure you will. And once you find that resolution, Kirti, you have to share it with us.
Okay, Mataji.
Thank you, Beta. And Kirti is
Daddy,
11 years old. Thank you, Kirti. 11 years young.
Yes.
Thank you, Kirti.
Okay, thank you all for sharing. In the interest of time, we'll have to move to the final third question that we'll ask you to write down and share. And the third question is, everyone has challenges. We saw everyone has blessings. And still, you all have come to attend, enrolled in this 9-day Bhagavad Gita course. There must be something in your mind that you, when you heard about this course, you felt, yes, I want to go learn something. So please write down, what is it? How did you think that Bhagavad Gita will help you in overcoming your challenges? In what way? And you can be you can be really honest about it. If you're just thinking, oh, I just wanted to explore if Bhagavad Gita can it help me, then write that. Or if you have maybe some previous understanding of Bhagavad Gita and you felt that I feel that this section may be able to help me in overcoming my challenges. Why did you register for this course? Why did you think that Bhagavad Gita can help you overcome the challenges? So the question is, why did you think that Bhagavad Gita will help you? This is the question. Please write down the answers and you can share. It's a little cryptic. You'll have to think about it a little hard. But why did you think that Bhagavad Gita will help you? These questions are only meant for us to go deeper into our consciousness and search, explore within, discover ourselves within. And then Krishna will, depending on our sincerity and eagerness, Krishna will reveal this answer to us.
May I go with the answer?
Yes, please. Please.
This is taught by Krishna himself, so how can he even doubt it? It is from his mouth, and he is giving to his favorite student, Arjuna, just to be how to be a Karam Yogi, Bhakti, and everything. So this is the thing of our life, you know. ये सीख लिया तो सब कुछ सीख लिया और जी लिया और क्या चाहिए?
Yes.
This is just now you said Gita Sar, just now you said everything. Not even like, you know, in my dreams also I can say. It is, I think so we just learn even one shloka and just practice it and fully live with it. And just complete surrender. 2.7. Karpana dosho pehet sohava prichami tram dham samujita yachihesam. I'm your student, please protect me and guide me. That is the thing. And we just say this every day and he will just do it.
Yes.
That's it. That's
Wonderful.
Krishna Arpanamastu.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Anjuji, for sharing. Actually, there is no question. Yes, give us 1 minute. There is no question. It is said that there is no question that Arjuna did not ask, and there is no question that Krishna did not answer. So Bhagavad Gita is the answer to all questions. So yes, who would like to go next?
Can I go?
Yes, who is it? Who is the little voice?
Garima again.
Yes, Garima, yes.
Krishna. And then my pranam all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. And I want to tell you that Bhagavad Gita, I will learn something new about Krishna, and I will get more bhakti for Krishna. And when I learn something about Krishna, I can do that service for Krishna.
Wow. Garima, all glories to you. I'm sure Krishna will reveal a lot of things to you, everything to you, because of your sincerity. Thank you.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev.
All glories to Garima. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dharma Pranam Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Samya. Hare Krishna.
I learned that this is the manual for the human life, what to do and what not to do. So I want to learn Bhagavad Gita, that how should I live and what should the practices I should do, and how to reach the Godhead in Golok.
Jai.
So I want to read Bhagavad Gita for that purpose.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Soumya. Anyone else want to share?
This is all by my Siksha Guru, Keshri Mataji and Venkat Prabhuji Mataji.
Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Wonderful. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
I would like to.
Who is this, Prabhu?
This is Anant Vilas Das.
Oh,
Yes, Anant Vilas Prabhu. Hari Hari.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam. So this is.
Hare Krishna,
I think-
Mohan.
So this is I think the three reasons that I have is one is it is an amazing opportunity to hear from the lips of pure devotees. So I want to really take the advantage of that, and there are so many things that I heard in today's class that I did not know. So I want to really get deeper to understand what are the practical tips that I can apply Bhagavad Gita in every aspect of my life, rather in our life. And then when Arjuna, he is the greatest warrior, when he was in such a difficulty, when he was so much in that difficult situation, when he was so much there are many times even after hearing Bhagavad Gita, I felt I'm probably doing something wrong, not applying it in the right way. So I really want to get deeper into it to understand, and that is why I'm trying to. So I don't know anything actually, so I really want to understand it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you so much for joining us.
So thank you for sharing. We see there are some comments on YouTube as well. We are reading your comments live on Zoom as well and Facebook as well. Thank you for sharing all of this. We have 8 more minutes remaining. We want to be mindful of your time, and we want to respect your time as well. So since we said it'll be 1.5 hours, in 8 minutes, we will end this session. So if you have any questions or comments that you want to ask, we can open it up for questions now. And in the next 8 minutes, we'll try to do as much as we could.
Or if there's no questions, if anyone wants to share any more realizations, please feel free to do that. But if you have questions, please let us know.
Because after this, those who are on Zoom and those who are on WhatsApp, you will receive some homework assignments. And one of the homework assignments Of course, there will be for memorizing shlokas, there will be exercises, assignment to go over the introduction of Bhagavad Gita, and an assignment will be a sharing assignment that please share with one person, any one person, about what you learned in Bhagavad Gita today. Just share it with one person, because sharing is very, very important. You will see in Bhagavad Gita, the last chapter, after Krishna says, surrender unto me, he stops his instructions, but then he starts telling, one who preaches this knowledge is much more dear to me than anyone else. So from now itself, if we know even 1%, if we share 1% of that Gita with anyone, one person, you could put it on Facebook that this is what I learned from the Gita, or you could share it with your relative or your friend or anyone. But that act of sharing, you will see that it will make you grow. Krishna will be pleased. Lord Chaitanya will be pleased. He will actually bestow that. You will experience that mercy and that growth within yourself. As we share, we'll grow more. So look out for those exercises and make sure that you complete them, and you will see in these 9 days, you will be completely transformed.
And another thing is that we are going to share quiz questions with all of you. Right now, we will be sharing the quiz questions with all of you. So these quiz questions will be also shared to you in the WhatsApp group. Now, the link to join the WhatsApp group, those who register, those of you who have registered, as soon as you click submit, there is a link to join the WhatsApp group. So we request you to please join the WhatsApp group. Once you click submit on the registration, you will automatically be able to see that link for joining the WhatsApp group. So please do join the group. But here are the questions and the answers to which, the answers, please listen carefully. The answers to the quiz questions, you will be given a link to the YouTube videos and to the Facebook video. The link will be shared in the WhatsApp group. So please go there and you must share your answers in the comments in YouTube video and in the Facebook video. Either, you can do either or you could do both. So we would like to now share the quiz questions. First, how many verses are there in the Bhagavad Gita? Second, what are the 5 topics of the Bhagavad Gita? Third, who are the founders of the 4 bona fide Vaishnava Sampradayas? Fourth, what should be our mood when reading the Bhagavad Gita? Fifth, what do the middle 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita represent? Sixth, which 2 verses are said to be the jewels of the Jnana Yoga chapters? Seventh, what are the 4 main questions that are answered in the Bhagavad Gita? Eighth, what is the yoga ladder? Ninth, who is the sister of Maya Devi who casts her influence on the listeners of Bhagavad Katha? So these are the 9 quiz questions. So please put your answers in the comments section in YouTube or in Facebook, the link of which will be shared to you on the WhatsApp page. And also the quiz questions will be shared with all of you.
All right. There was one question that we heard. Please ask your question.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hello.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I think I'm online, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I just had this very bad doubt. Actually, I'm not a good guy at all. But whatever, I had this doubt. It's about pure devotees. Now, everywhere I read that you should learn something from the mouth or lips of a pure devotee. Now, it's, I don't know, I'm a very skeptical person and I find it difficult to accept this pure devotee concept. I don't see it in real life. I think it's a challenge. Probably the fault is mine. I would be grateful if at the end of this session I can find somebody whom I can say, yes, he is a pure devotee and I must hold his feet forever. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yes, we also pray that Krishna will help you reveal that in some extent. Of course, we are all following Srila Prabhupada and his works, and based on his activities and his preaching and everything, he applied what he spoke. And so we understand that he is the pure devotee. He is a pure devotee. There are many pure devotees like this, and all of us are trying to follow in his guidance and in his footsteps. So even though we all may not be pure devotees, but definitely I don't consider myself as a pure devotee, but we are trying to follow in the footsteps of the pure devotee, and we are sincerely trying. That's all we can say, basically. But we have faith based on his activities, based on his actions, and applicable that Srila Prabhupada is a pure devotee on this earth, and he learned from his guru, who learned from his guru, and in this way it has coming from the disciplic succession.
And you're very right that, in today's day and age, we do not know, who to trust, who not to trust. So Srila Prabhupada, as is said in the scripture, has repeated that a pure devotee is recognized not just by our mere vision. We need to listen to the words of the devotee, what they're saying. If it is according to Shastra, we follow. If it is not according to Shastra, we reject and we move on. So thank you so much for your comment, and we hope that in this journey we will be able to learn from each other. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Soumya,
Hare
1
Krishna,
minute. Soumya, 1 minute. There was a question from Madhubhashini Mataji.
And before we go there, let me just acknowledge that we have reached the 1.5 hour mark. So officially, we are ending the session here. Those who would like to leave, they are, feel free. We don't want to take much of your time, but those who are staying and those who have questions, we are available for you to answer your questions. But we want to be mindful of your time. Officially, the program is complete. Those who would like to stay, we are available to serve you by answering your questions.
Okay, so Madhubhashini Mataji, you had a question?
Mataji, it was me.
Yes, Kirti.
So you were mentioning about the yoga ladder a little bit before. Mm-hmm. So, where does the yoga ladder really start?
According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the yoga ladder starts at the level of the conditioned soul, where the bottom rung of the ladder is someone who doesn't practice yoga at all, who has no understanding of yoga. All the conditioned souls who have no understanding of the Bhagavad Gita or what yoga is, that's the lowest rung of the ladder. And then it keeps going up and up and up, depending on how the conditioned soul grows from the lowest level to the higher. And Arjuna, we'll see in Bhagavad Gita, he is in the first chapter, he's at that lowest level. He's hankering, he's lamenting for things that he doesn't have. He's hankering for things that he doesn't have. So the first thing Krishna does is chastise him. And so Arjuna is a representative in the first chapter of a conditioned soul. Then we will see his transformation in the first chapter, second chapter, third chapter. And we see how he goes from karma yoga, from conditioned soul to Nishkam Karma Yogi to Jnana Yoga, then he comes to Dhyana Yoga, then he starts understanding the explanations of Bhakti Yoga, and then slowly, steadily, how Krishna is taking him by hand, step by step, through this ladder, all the way to the topmost rung. And along with Arjuna, if we follow him, we will also be able to take that same journey. Does that answer your question? Thank you.
Thank you, Kirti. Thank you so much for your question. Soumya, you had a question?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes.
Shall I start reading Bhagavad Gita from today, Mataji? Shall I complete the 2 chapters, Mataji, today? So that I can, when you are introducing the 3rd chapter, it will be helpful for me, Mataji.
That's a
But
very
more
good
understanding.
question. That's a very good question. That is part of the assignment that is coming. We are going to share the assignment that, the first assignment is that please read the introduction to the Bhagavad Gita. And then please read the first and the second chapter as best as you can. Second chapter is really long. If you can just read even the translations, that will be helpful for understanding tomorrow's session much better. The third assignment is 1 minute. I forget, so I might have to look. No, memorize. The third one is memorize the Gita-mahatmya verses, the PDF version of the Gita-mahatmya verses, which has been very beautifully created by Divyangi Lalita and Prem Vikas Prabhu. They will be sharing it into the WhatsApp group. So please, from there, read and try to memorize the 7 verses of glorification of the Gita-mahatmya. And the final assignment, the fourth assignment is share your appreciation of the Bhagavad Gita with at least one person. Just with one person. You have one full day, 24 hours before tomorrow's session. So please, in this one day, share about Bhagavad Gita, your appreciation about the Bhagavad Gita with at least just one person. So that's the assignments. Okay? Thank you so much. So if there are any more questions?
If not, we can end today. Thank
Hare
you all.
Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams. I have one question. Can I ask?
Yes.
Mataji, what is exactly Gita-mahatmya? What is it all about?
May I know who is asking this?
Rajeshwari Mataji.
Rajeshwari, Hare Krishna. Yes. So this Gita-mahatmya is spoken by Lord Shiva to Mother Parvati. And these verses are from the Padma Purana, and this is, talking about the glories of, talking about the glories of the Bhagavad Gita. What is the benefit that we can get from reciting the Bhagavad Gita? So this is the 7 verses that are there, which we read the translation and the shlokas today. But there are also 7, to each chapter, there is one beautiful katha that Lord Shiva tells to Uma, which we will also be discussing. So this Gita-mahatmya is nothing, the glories of the Bhagavad Gita, which is told in the Padma Purana. So hope that answers your question.
So thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Mataji, just to add to this question is that if I have heard that if you read the Bhagavad Gita but you don't read the Gita-mahatmya, you don't get the benefit. So is that right, Mataji?
It's not about getting the benefit. It's about, realizing, because Gita-mahatmya, it puts us in the mood that this Bhagavad Gita is not something ordinary, So we better appreciate the words of the Bhagavad Gita when we do it in the proper knowledge, when we do it in the proper mood. That's all it is, basically. So that's why it is probably saying that, you won't get any benefit. But, touching fire, whether we know that fire burns or not, fire will not say, this person doesn't know that I burn. Let me not burn this person. The fire never thinks like that. So Srila Prabhupada always said that the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it has a meaning. But those who chant without knowing the meaning to the mantra also get the benefit. Because fire always burns. That is the nature of fire. So reading the Bhagavad Gita has its benefit. There's no doubt about it. But when we do it in proper knowledge, when we know the proper mood of the recitation of the Bhagavad Gita, we get more benefit, So that's what it is. I hope it answers your question.
Yes, Mataji. So like if we are reciting some verses in Bhagavad Gita and we are reading the Bhagavad Gita, but we are still not I'm talking about myself. Like sometimes I don't even understand what this verse is trying to say, but I keep reading it. So does that also, like, should we do that or we should not do because we are not understanding it?
Well, that's why we have Sadhu, Guru and Shastra. When we read the Shastra, if we don't understand something, then the sadhus are there to help us understand the Shastra. So if we can ask someone who has read the Gita, and they can help us in answering our question and our understanding, then that's good. So that is the main purpose of this session also, that we hope that our doubts in reading the Bhagavad Gita and all of that will be answered, through this
Yes,
process.
Mata. This is the main reason I had this opportunity to join this class. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So any more questions? If not, we can end today's session here.
Thank you so much for joining today. Please join tomorrow again at 6 a.m. India time and 7:30 p.m. Central time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. Thank you very much.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada
Hare Krishna,
ki
Prabhuji.
jai.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, yes.
Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam. Mataji, I have a question. Can I ask?
Yes, Shama, go ahead.
Mataji, while reading Bhagavad Gita, we are in the second chapter of 16th, I think so, Mataji. So at that time, there is a point that Lord Krishna says that we have to take the, what is called, one moment, Mataji. We have to renounce, and we have to, if somebody takes the Varnashrama Dharma of renunciation, sannyasa, then that is the best practice. So in that process, one of my friend asked, Krishna said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taken the sannyasa and to for the higher purpose, to have the higher purpose. So one of my friend asked, so is it proper in the middle age, like he's 24 years at the time of taking sannyasa? So is it like escaping from the duties of grihastha life and taking sannyasa, is it proper? So how can I satisfy them, Mataji?
Well, see, some things cannot be satisfied. There are certain prerequisites to understand and to satisfy certain people, because the reason why Mahaprabhu took sannyas is, very, very specifically, it has been told and revealed in the scriptures. There are internal reasons, there are external reasons, there are, such special, unique relationship between Radharani and Sri Krishna that Mahaprabhu took sannyas, one of the most confidential reasons why Mahaprabhu took sannyas is because Radharani had, she was living the life of a mendicant, like a sannyasi, when Krishna left from Vrindavan. So Krishna wanted to reciprocate with that, renunciation and sacrifice of Srimati Radharani. And that's why Mahaprabhu, like Krishna, as Mahaprabhu, he took sannyas. So like this, there are many, many confidential reasons why he took sannyas. And he did not actually, just not take care of his, not take care of his responsibilities. His mother and his young wife were left under the care of a very senior, member of their family, who was, Ishan was the name of the person. So Mahaprabhu took sannyas for, for the society, for many other reasons. But he did not neglect his personal responsibilities as well, So these are things we need to know.
And along with that, Mahaprabhu, on the insistence of his mother, he wanted to go to Vrindavan, but he stayed nearby Bengal, nearby his mother in Jagannath Puri, because devotees would always keep coming from Bengal to Jagannath Puri. And so in this way, Sachi Mata, his mother, can actually find how he's doing. He can send some messages, because at that time there was no WhatsApp, there was no text messaging, no phone. But with this, he was very concerned about it. So one of the internal reasons also is that he took sannyas for the benefit of everyone else. It's like a soldier. When a soldier goes into the army, into the battlefield, he has to leave his parents, he has to leave his family and go there, and he doesn't know whether he'll come back. Someone may ask a similar question. Why? Why did you get into the army? You're not supposed to. You have to take responsibility of your family. Yes, we have to take responsibility of the family. However, there are sometimes higher responsibilities towards the community, towards the country, towards the world, towards the entire universe. Lord Chaitanya took sannyas for the benefit of the entire universe, to make sure that he can spread the mercy of the holy name to every town and village in this world. And because he did that, you are here today. We are here today, hearing Bhagavad Gita because of Srila Prabhupada, because of Mahaprabhu taking sannyas. But again, he did take care of his family. But just like a soldier going on a battlefield, the government takes care of the family of the soldier out of gratefulness. Similarly, when Mahaprabhu left, uh, of course, he's Krishna himself. He protected his own family, even though he doesn't have to be physically present. But still, the Lord is the family of those who give their life for the mission of the Lord. Just like a soldier goes in the battlefield for the government, and government takes care of their family in that sense.
So we hope that answers your questions, Shama.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji and Mataji. It makes a lot of sense, Mataji and Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the beautiful question. Thank you. So if there's not any more questions, we can end our session here.
Garima!
Yes, Garima. Okay.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you very much.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
I have a question from Bhagavatam, first canto.
Yes.